So, hello everyone, and hope you all enjoyed lunch. I and my colleague Tiina here, we flew all the way from Finland to be here with you today and to talk about our topic, which is one size does not fit all, how to build a successful awareness program for your organization. We've heard already so many good presentations this morning, and we have a bit of the same things also in our presentation we have already heard, but also a bit more practical tips maybe. Hope you enjoy. Let's move forward. So maybe we could introduce ourselves a bit at first. So Tiina, could you be so kind?
Oh, definitely. So hello everyone. Very pleased to be here today. So my name is Tiina Kärkäinen, and I'm currently working as a senior cybersecurity awareness consultant. This is the longest title I never have had before. And basically what I do for my work, I develop, implement and manage our customer awareness programs. And I have multiple customers and a lot of different types of customers. So I think that we are in a front row to see what is actually cooking in the awareness area from the organization point of view. As my background, I have a BBA in security management, but I'm also a qualified vocational teacher in Finland. But that's about me.
Yeah, and I'm Marianne Lindroth, and I also work as a consultant. My title is Cybersecurity Consultant. But I also actually work in the academia at the university, and I'm leading this research and development project there, which aims to enhance the skills, basic cybersecurity skills of all EU citizens. So quite big goals we have there. But it's nice to actually work both in academia and in consultancy business, because those two actually complement each other. My background, educational background, I have studied master's degree in communications and later studied master's degree program in cybersecurity, currently working on my PhD. I really like to study a lot. And I also have this teacher qualification in Finland. So it really helps when you try to figure out how to best educate and train people. But maybe that's enough about us, and let's move forward to today's topic. But at first, I have a question for you. So how many of you know what the Finnish word sisu means? There's someone.
Yeah, a couple of hands. Unfortunately, we can't see the people sitting in the back of the room, but yes, it's nice to see that some of you know. So basically, sisu is it's an integral part of the Finnish cultural identity. It actually means that kind of the determination and sense of drive. If you have like challenging things to do, then you just kind of go through the stone to make it happen. But what does it have to do with the awareness?
Yeah, as many of you probably know, when you are doing work with cybersecurity awareness, when you are trying to build cybersecurity awareness culture, you actually have to be quite persistent. So the best translation for sisu is maybe persistence. You have to do things again and again. You have to try something new if something fails. So this is also when you are working with cybersecurity awareness, you have to have a lot of time to use, you have to be able to fail and try again. And this is what we are talking about today, how we can do this in a best manner. And maybe you can learn something from our mistakes and our solutions that we have developed. So today's agenda is here. At first, we are going to shortly tell you why this is important. This is something that probably most of you already know. We are preaching to believers, but still we are doing it. And then we will delve into our case examples, explain what kind of challenges we have faced and how we have found solutions to cope with those challenges. And lastly, we are going to tell the lessons learned. You can maybe utilize some of those in your own work. And in the end, we are going to summarize a bit and tell you how we think building effective awareness programs could be done. So, Tiina, could you please explain a bit why we are showing these statistics?
Exactly, very shortly. So you can see a couple of statistics there. And yeah, this is just to remind all of us why we are doing this. We know that there are lots of cybersecurity threats and the data breaches. Every organization is on target. Some of the organizations, of course, they have a bigger risk in this area. But if you are breached, the cost can be devastating for the organization. And what we want to remember that all the technical things, even if we have all the possible technical things, it may not help because we have the human element there. So nearly 70% of the data breaches involve some kind of human element.
Yeah, and as already mentioned earlier today, in many cases, lots of money is being used to enhance the technological measures in organizations, so that side might be like really, really strong, but the human part is then forgotten. And it's really important that we also use money to create cybersecurity awareness activities and educate and train people, because some risks cannot be mitigated with technological methods, but you actually have to enforce the human shield. But yes, here you can see our case examples. So we have two different kind of organizations here. Could you, Tiina, introduce the first one, the manufacturing company?
Yeah, so we decided to choose two different customer cases. And just to give you a hint that even though we are talking about awareness, not all the solutions fit for every organization or company. So the manufacturing company here, it's a global company. And of course, it operates in multiple countries. And they actually have a couple of main production sites. And then they have multiple smaller production sites. And the company is divided into 5 different business divisions. And these divisions also have like business units and country-specific units. So it's pretty scattered company as a whole. And they do have over 14,000 employees. So quite many people that needs to be trained and educated. And as you may assume, because it's the factory or the manufacturing company, most of the employees are actually factory workers. So if you are working in a manufacturing environment, you know that it is sometimes quite challenging to reach all the people there. And of course, there are also the other people, the management, support functions, etc.
Yes, and the other example is a bit more smaller organization, this media company, which is national media company, but it's actually scattered around Finland. So they have different units in different locations and smaller teams and bigger teams, and they are a bit in a silos. So they are working in different places and not interacting so much with each other. So radios, newspapers in different places, for example. And they have approximately 2,000 employees, so medium-sized company. And the staff has really like varied job profiles. There are specialists, there are administrative staff, there are reporters, journalists. And some people do not even know what others are doing. So their jobs really vary a lot. Now you know the basics of our case examples, and let's move to the challenges. Tiina, please go first again.
All right. Thank you, Marianne. Well, before going to the challenges, I would like to highlight at this point that even though we are now talking about challenges, when we started the work with this company 3.5 years ago, we actually had the most important foundation ready, because there was already a management approval and commitment to this awareness work. And I remember we talked about this earlier today in some other presentations, that the management commitment is very important. So we had the base ground there. The company had the money, but they were lacking other resources. So because they were a global company, most of the globe was in a situation in the company that they didn't have any awareness done before. There was one country, and there was one person running the awareness program in that country. And some of you may be in a familiar situation, being alone, running the awareness program with some other duties alongside the awareness. So this one person had actually solved the problem by just taking the phishing and training platform into use a couple of years ago. And basically the awareness was pretty much running through the program or the platform. And what we also found out in the beginning, that there was pretty much none or very limited cooperation with the support functions, such as communication. And we see that it is so important that we as awareness persons, people have the collaboration, especially with the communication. And yeah, the business operations, they were all over the globe. So not too easy to reach everyone and find out the right people there. And of course, when we are in a global environment, there are lots of cultural differences. There are actually cultural differences in, for example, in Europe. It is totally different world, a different culture when you are from Finland, or if you are, for example, from Germany or some other European country. And probably the biggest challenge with the company was that how do we reach all these people? For example, the factory workers, they didn't have their own company devices, not even the mobile phone. They do have the company email address, but as they are working in a factory 8 hours per day with small breaks during the workday, and they have the shared computer, so they don't go to the shared computer every day. So how do we make sure that they get the message when we start the awareness program communication?
Thank you. And about the media company, so they had also similar problems, but also challenges and also something different. So they also had very few common comms channels. As mentioned, they worked in their own units, minding their own business, not interacting so much with each other. And they even didn't have common email lists. You could send an email to everyone. They didn't need to do that in their work. Also, wide range of job profiles, people doing different kind of things. And this was also a challenge because the risks, of course, then vary. And journalists, reporters, they are a critical audience. They create stories themselves. So if we want to create good awareness activities for them, it really has to be quality content for them. And also some of the journalists are dealing with really sensitive data. They had to protect their sources and all that. So there are high risks involved there. And some of them even didn't have company devices. There were lots of freelancers using their own devices. So company did not have any access to those devices. And one thing was also that awareness training was not mandatory. They had this code of conduct training, which was quite short, and it had a few things about cybersecurity awareness, but not much. And as the company was so scattered and there were managers all over the country, there were no one person who could have said that this is now mandatory, everyone has to do it. So it was volunteer to participate cybersecurity awareness training. And just like in the manufacturing company, cybersecurity awareness work was a solo effort. One CISO was doing it by themselves and didn't have any interaction with comms people or H&R. And they also have many other duties, so limited time resources.
Which is probably pretty common for our
is.
type of work.
Yes. Does anything else come to your mind?
No, not at the moment. I think we can go to this.
Yep.
What we actually did to start with them.
Yeah, so here you can see the solutions, and maybe Tiina, you can start with this one.
Yeah. Well, because our topic is that one size doesn't fit all, but it doesn't mean that there isn't anything common in these situations with the different customers. And what we always do when we have a new customer, we always want to know that what is the current state? Where do we start the planning for the customer when it comes to the awareness? And the first thing in my case was that we really needed to identify all the key stakeholders. So because there was only one person, of course we were there to support this one awareness person. So the resources part was already a little bit better because we were there to support and help them. But yeah, we started to find out that, okay, who are the contacts from the communication department, HR, the business side, IT, etc. And when we got those, we set up interviews with them. And this is a very critical point because you have to learn the people and not only to get all this stuff like cybersecurity stuff, that what are the risks and etc., but kind of forming the common understanding that what we are trying to do here, what we want to achieve through this, and really get their engagement to support us in the awareness work. And of course, in the interview, we also talked with them about how do they see that, what are the biggest risks and behaviors that we should be, start educating the employees. Who are the target groups? And what are the communication channels that they are currently using? And is there something else what we could utilize to get the messages out? And once we have the communication channels ready and all the information that we need to start creating the plan. And this is actually the phase, creating the plan, where the paths that we are now talking about, these companies, start going a little bit different direction. And the awareness plan always includes the communication plan. So there's a clear plan, what we're gonna do, what are the topics, who are the target groups, and when it's gonna happen.
Yeah, and we did all these phases with the media company also, and also in addition, we also had this awareness survey in the beginning of the process. We wanted to engage the employees, and they had expertise. They knew about content creation. They had good ideas. We asked them what kind of content you would like to see, what kind of cybersecurity awareness training you would like to participate in. And they gave us good insights, and it's really helped us create the awareness plan.
Yeah, and this is something that our customers differed quite a lot because of the target audience was totally different than what we had in the manufacturing environment.
Can you now explain the concrete things you did with the manufacturing company?
Yeah, certainly. Like I said in the beginning, that there was only one country that was doing the awareness when we joined the awareness program. So of course we need to, kick off the whole thing in the company. So the first thing what we were doing, because we already had the phishing and training platform available, and this platform offered ready-made content with multiple different languages. So it was decided that, okay, let's take this platform into use for everyone. And but at this point, I just want to remind that if you are using any platforms, they don't run solo. So it really needs someone or even more people to manage the platform. And the communication is the key. You don't want to take any platform into use if you don't communicate it to the people. And it is not enough to communicate just once. You have to have the continuous communication, and you have to show the results and etc. So don't just take the platform into use and leave it like that. Yeah, and Marianne said that in her example, they also make the survey. So did we, and we actually utilized the platform. So we wanted to understand that what is the current knowledge level of the people or the employees, and also how do they perceive the cybersecurity culture in the company at the moment. So we ran through the survey, and it was actually part of the program launch. So when we had the launch communication, we also asked the employees to fill in the surveys. And through that, when we had this launch communication campaign, we actually continued with the continuous communication because we had the communication plan already. And also one thing, what we did once we get the knowledge results from the surveys, of course, we fine-tuned the current communication plan. So we don't, if we make something, it doesn't mean that we have to stick with that. Because if we see something new that, okay, we didn't think about this, but now we can see from the survey that this is actually something that we need to really highlight. So we made some modification to the plan. Do you want to say something now about your customer?
Yeah, I can explain our solution. So we wanted to make awareness part of everyday work. As mentioned, those people were really, really busy. They didn't have time, and we were really competing their attention, and it was difficult. So we went to the channels they spent their time, for example, Teams, and we gave them like small nano learning elements that they could then utilize. And it didn't take them much time to see the content and maybe learn something new and even get interested about cybersecurity. And I also mentioned about the critical audience. So it was really important to build trust. And we did it with familiar faces. So basically we put the CISO on stand. He went to different kind of meetings. He told people why cybersecurity awareness is important, why cybersecurity is important. And we actually utilized the CEO also, because it's really important that the management shows good example and supports the activities. So the CEO also told in different occasions that cybersecurity matters are really important. Cybersecurity is everyone's responsibility. And this really helps to get people's attention. We also utilize peer learning. So as mentioned, there were journalists, reporters, and some of them actually knew a lot about cybersecurity, and they were even writing articles about it. So we utilized their expertise, and their co-workers could then see their colleagues sharing information, participating in our videos. So it was a nice way to educate people. And we involved the employees also other ways. We interviewed them, published articles, and they explained what kind of challenges they had faced, if they had made mistakes, clicked any links, or did something wrong. And this was also to reduce the shame that is also often present when something bad happens. People are afraid to report because they are ashamed that they had done something wrong. But when you talk about these things openly and share the stories, and you see that your colleague has done mistakes, but it was something that could be then solved, and it was actually a good thing that they reported. So good examples from employees to other employees. This was something we did.
Yeah. All right, if I continue with my company. So basically the things that I was already talking about, they were kind of forming the base for the awareness work. And for example, the continuous communication, it included, like Marianne said, news articles, Teams messages for certain groups, or infographics put on the factory info screens, etc. But I think that one of the most crucial points in this whole awareness program was to engage the management. And now I'm talking about kind of the line managers, the managers who have their own teams and people who they run on a daily basis. So getting them on board, if you haven't done it yet, I can warmly recommend to do that. So how we did it is that because the company already had communication channel for the managers. So of course we utilized that channel, and we created the communication plan for how to engage the managers, and how once we had given the communication, we call it as a manager cybersecurity toolkit, and it's actually quite simple. It's a PowerPoint set which have own pages for the manager for themselves, where we explain, for example, one topic from cybersecurity that we say that, okay, this is important, this is something that we want them to take out to their teams. So we explain the topic for them, give examples and good speaker's notes. And then in addition to that, the toolkit has a couple of slides for the team discussion. So kind of first they can introduce the topic, and then we call it an icebreaker. So one slide which have, for example, questions or something like that, that they can start talking about the topic that the line manager is talking about. So engaging managers, because they are your best friends in the awareness, because they are the ones who the employees listen to, and they spend most of the time with the employees. Yeah, so management, line managers are good resources for your awareness program. And then we've done other things too. For example, Ask Me Anything sessions. So those are the sessions that we choose one topic, give a short briefing, and then everyone can join. They can post questions beforehand, or they can post the questions online. And those have been pretty successful. We were actually pretty surprised how many people come into these sessions and they really ask questions. Even though we might think about sometimes, okay, this is, we know this stuff, but we have to remember that they don't know that. And yeah, so we are running these on a regular basis. And because we've been working with them like almost 4 years now, I just want to highlight that the first year was mostly about building the foundation. So don't rush things, because you have to have the foundation before you can go and do more like what I have here in the last one is the Security Champion Network. So when you have the foundation there, then you can start engaging even more people. And if you have had a successful communication, you will find the volunteers to join the Champion Network.
Great. And what else we did with the media company? So we organized separate trainings for high-risk groups we had recognized. And we had many trainings, but the structure was almost the same. Just the topics differ because people were doing different kind of things in their work, and they faced different kind of threats. So we changed the topic, but the same structure worked. So it wasn't that much workload then. And also we started collaborating with H&R and comms team. So we utilized existing comms methods and channels and used, for example, existing newsletters and other channels that were already there, and the comms people could tell us that this actually works, this doesn't work. So that was a good way to do it. And we also use multi-channel communication. So as mentioned, those people spend their time in different channels and they use different kind of tools. And some people wanted to read PDFs, some people wanted simulations, some people wanted something different. So we put different kind of elements in different kind of channels. The message was almost the same, but we just modified the content to suit the channel we were publishing it in. And also we started this topical webinar series, and the idea was that people could learn something that would be useful not only in their workplaces, but also in their leisure time. And they could learn things, how to protect themselves, how to protect their loved ones. So that was the idea. Anything else comes to your mind at this point?
No, not at the moment. Let's move on, because we are running out of time otherwise.
We have many things to
say. Yeah, we would like to talk about this like a whole day, so just feel free to join us later today. Yeah, maybe the lessons learned and what we've been talking about. There's always something, the challenges might be similar, but the solutions might be totally different, because there's always need for customization. You have to know your target group and your organization and understand the cultural differences. The same message may not be perceived the same way in Asia or in for example, in Finland, for example. And of course, there might be different threats even in different countries, even though you are operating in the same business. And the people have different learning preferences. So the same, like Marianne said, that you need to find ways how to take the message out, because people learn in different ways.
Yes, and targeted communication is really important. One message doesn't work for everyone. You have to modify it to really engage the target group. And motivation is also one thing. And at least in Europe, I think it's the same situation here. Workplaces are one of the biggest cybersecurity trainers nowadays. People learn the basic skills in their workplaces. Of course, also in schools, but those people who have already finished their schools, they learn the things in their workplaces and they can then better protect also their parents, for example, their children. So the collective impact is actually quite large. And also the knowledge and skills can be generalized beyond the world of work. So it can really be useful for an individual.
Yeah, definitely. And if you can make the message personal, it will definitely stick better. So make sure that you don't just think about the organizational needs on a cybersecurity, but think what do those people need outside the work. Yeah, but what can we do? So we can do a lot of things, and for example, now we are networking and learning from each other. But what we do pretty much on a daily basis, we read the news, we read the reports and articles, and we network, we spar with each other, and just be active. If you need something that you don't know, you can always reach out for someone else. Don't be alone, even though if you are alone responsible for the awareness. Try to find the networks.
Yes. And lastly, this is a recap, building effective awareness program. So planning is really important, understanding organizational nuances and needs. What kind of people are working in the organization, what kind of things they are doing, what kind of threats they are facing. And also interactivity is essential, not just one-way communication from awareness people to other employees, but communication and interaction, discussion, dialogue with the employees so that you can better understand their needs and their motivation.
Exactly. And then the iteration, go beyond the compliance. So it is not enough just to have a one yearly mandatory training, but keep up the continuous communication and find the topics like Marianne said, that discuss with the people. If you have a training or you have a webinar, collect feedback and do changes based on that feedback. And then the continuity, yeah, like I said, do it on a regular basis, and but don't do it too much. That's also good to remember. If you send a message or a video or keep a webinar like once a week, you will not get. There's also always a couple of people who always want to join and are interested, but find the best ways which work on your organization, and learn and share your knowledge.
Yes, I think we have almost 2 minutes. If anyone has any questions, we can also answer the questions in Slack. You can put the questions there. But I think we are done now. Thank you.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much, Tiina and Marianne. We have like 30 seconds for a quick question.
Yay.
So I'm going to go ahead and pull one off of Slack. My people in the room, please also put your questions in Slack so Marianne and Tiina can answer afterwards. But this one comes from Alex Bruce. He asks, creating the manager toolkit, outside of the curated presentations, did you find anything else that was very valuable for the managers?
Sorry, now did you get the whole
Yeah,
question?
anything valuable to the managers in addition to the toolbox?
Yeah, well, first of all, I think that one of the most important thing was that even though the cybersecurity is the kind of part of their responsibilities, they really got the understanding themselves that why the cybersecurity is important. And of course, we always try to choose the topics that are valuable also for them, not only at work, but also outside the work. And if you do want to discuss about the manager toolkit with us, please come and chat with us, because this was just a very brief description of it.
Awesome. Let's give one more round of applause for our speakers.
Thank you.